Welcome to Table Talk, a place for honest conversations and getting to meet friends. I'm Betsy Thompson here with Pastor Levi.
Yes,
Skipper.
ma'am. How are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Do people say your last name very often?
Not really.
I was like, it's just Pastor Levi. And then I was like, and his last name is Skipper.
Yeah, I don't think they do, actually.
No.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever call you Skipper?
No.
No.
Now, they did my dad and my granddad
okay.
at work.
Okay,
Isn't that
yeah.
funny?
But then not you.
Not me.
Not you. Okay.
Yeah.
Pastor Levi is here. We're so excited.
There you go.
It's good to see you. Things are going really good.
Yes, ma'am.
We're excited. Things are doing super good here at Sagemont. It's been an exciting season.
Yes.
Getting to see all the fun things that are happening.
That's right.
And I know he has told staff this, and I've heard him say it in service too. Thank y'all for being flexible as we change and as we grow, and parking in a different parking spot or sitting in a different seat and coming at a different time. I've been very impressed.
Look, everybody's been fantastic.
It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been really, really good. So I asked Pastor Levi to come today because we want you to know that coming up this October, we're going to have a men's conference.
Yes.
Here at Sagemont.
Yes.
And one of the big things that we want to make sure everybody knows is this is not a Sagemont men's conference. This is a Houston men's conference.
Yes, definitely.
We really want this to be, hey, men of Houston, come. So then it's looking at our Sagemont men and going, hey, that means you get to invite your people you work with, the people you hang out with, the people you do life with.
Definitely.
Or even maybe you just know them and you want to do life with them, reaching out. And so it's going to be October 17th and 18th. It's a Friday night and a Saturday here at Sagemont.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're opening it up to everybody. And you're one of the keynote speakers.
Yes, ma'am.
Pastor Greg Mott from Houston's First.
That's right.
And Pastor Jarrett Stevens from Champion Forest.
Yes, ma'am.
Are the three keynote speakers, and there's going to be a bunch of breakout speakers.
Yes.
Which is super fun, too, because I love that Jason Ryan, who's over our men's ministry, is purposely asking breakout speakers from lots of different churches.
That's right.
Because then the guys from those churches are going to come, and it really is going to hopefully reach,
Lord willing,
that demographic. So early registration starts June 1st, where you can get an early bird pricing. So we wanted you to know about it. And you can get all the details online and all that kind of stuff. But the thing I wanted to talk to you about is, why should men put this on their calendar? Why should men invite their friends? Why should they pay money to come and be a part of a men's conference?
Well, if I can back up and kind of tell a story of how men's conferences have shaped me over the years. So early on, as just a young guy, thinking in my 20s, in Southeast, U.S., there was this massive men's conference, and I was invited to it, and I went to it, and I'll never forget. I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm taking notes. It was some of the best opportunity in my own personal walk with Jesus, just to be challenged, but then to also be around a lot of other men facing some of the same difficulties, some of the same heartaches, some of the same wins and losses, and learning from those guys. And so that shaped me personally. So much so that I actually, sought to bring as many folks as possible, years after that. So even as a pastor of a local church, I was, taking our church to be a part of some of those men's conferences. And it's always just been a huge shot in the arm for your spiritual walk. But what it ends up doing is it ends up allowing you to develop relationships with men that are on a deeper level than just the kind of, hey, how are you, that you see at church, what's going on, man, you look sharp today, those kinds of things. It's actually, I'm concerned now about the spiritual development, spiritual walk of other guys. They're concerned about mine. The proverb says, as iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. So it gives us that opportunity, that avenue to create that atmosphere. And then from that, what we're intending to hopefully do on a Sagemont side is really plug people into grow groups, get them involved in smaller groups out of those men's conferences that will be of great value to their own spiritual walk.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why. And then, plus it's like, why not? We have an opportunity to reach out into our community, to partner with other churches, which builds stronger relationships with, us, Sagemont, and other fellowships in our area. And then we all kind of band together and reach out to the community where people live, where they work, where they spend their extra time. And sometimes guys will show up to this who may not show up to a normal worship service on a Sunday. but God grabs their heart at it and changes them.
Makes
so
a difference.
that's what's that's what's driving us to do this. And then too, I'm confident, and I love the title that Jason's given for the conference, Awaken the Warrior, in the fact that, there's an untapped reservoir of great, useful energy for the local church, and oftentimes the untapped reservoir are men. So we want to tap into that. Absolutely. So that they can step up, they can be leaders in their homes, leaders in their workplace, leaders in the local church as well.
Yeah. I love that. And I think in the keynote speakers and also the breakout speakers, y'all really are going to be discussing and challenging the men that come on a lot of the things that maybe would keep them from coming.
Yeah, sure.
But they come in really to be challenged to take those next steps, to do a thing. What are some of those things maybe that you're seeing in men that you're like, these are some of the things that we know it might keep men from coming? And more than anything, you need to come because of that.
And I think I'll back up a little bit and talk about just the keynote guys.
Yeah.
So just moving to Texas, I've had a great opportunity to get to know on a deeper level Greg Mott and Jarrett Stevens. There's other guys as well, but those guys especially, they've been a great source of encouragement to me. I hope I've been somewhat of an encouragement to them, but we've had an awesome time getting to know each other, very like-minded. And so when we started talking about this concept of the men's conference, they were immediately on my mind. It's like, let's bring these guys in. And some of that is focusing in, or those three keynotes are focusing in on what we know guys are challenged with. So to answer your question, some guys are just, they're very shallow in their walk. They have no spiritual disciplines. Now, they're disciplined in other things in life, but they're not disciplined in their walk with the Lord. Paul the Apostle tells Timothy, discipline yourself for the purpose of godliness. The word discipline in the Greek New Testament is gymnazo. Does that sound like anything? That's gymnasium. So he even says bodily exercise is of benefit, but spiritual exercise is a benefit for this life and the life to come. So I'm super pumped that Jarrett is going to come. He's going to walk through some very practical spiritual disciplines that men can apply to their life. And just like a guy will go to the gym and work out, this is an encouragement really to go to the spiritual gym and work out your faith so that you're growing stronger. And some guys just don't have that in their makeup. They're not doing that. We want to help as many people as possible accomplish that task.
And I think so often some men aren't doing it just because they don't know they're supposed to.
Well, they don't know.
Like they don't realize.
It's that, and they don't know how.
Yes, right.
So it goes to, don't challenge people to do something you don't teach them how to do, right? So we want to challenge them, but we're going to give you practical ways to do that. That's also just side note, side quest maybe as well, but that's why I love our grow groups. I had one last night. I've got guys in there who are not spending time alone with the Lord on a regular basis, and I use that whole gym analogy like I just did right there, and you can see light bulbs coming on because they immediately started saying, well, man, I go to the gym every single morning. Nothing gets in the way of that. I'm like, okay, use that same mentality and apply it to your spiritual walk. And you could just kind of see them, making that connection. So anyway, I'm super pumped about Jarrett talking on that. But then, Greg Mott just really talking about your relationship with your spouse. So marriages are in trouble. A lot of guys are married, but it's more like a roommate situation than a genuine relationship. And again, it's because sometimes they just don't know how. Guys are different than girls. I think you've realized this.
True.
And as a result of that, sometimes it causes a married, couple to kind of go in opposite directions. Absolutely. And then you've got resentment, bitterness, all these things that are adding up, and it just becomes this massive invisible wall between husband and wife. So Greg Mott's going to do great on that. And then, I'm focused in on this idea of just conquering sin. So again, we're awakening the warrior, right? So we've got to fight. We're called to fight. We're fighting against sin that's in our life. And sin can come in all forms. So we want to focus on a genuine game plan. You'd never go to battle without a game plan. So we want to create a game plan that every single guy can apply to their life and say, here's how I defeat that sin in my life. And everybody knows what that sin is because it's their sin.
Right? Yes.
So they know it. So how do they defeat it? Because at this point in time, you have a lot of guys that are just surrendering to sin and they're like, it's just part of my life. It's just who I am. I don't know what to do about it. They've never been taught how to fight.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about how to fight. That comes out real good when I say it out loud.
I love it.
So, yeah.
I think it's great. And I think so often, and this is true for everybody, there's this misconception of once I surrender my life to Jesus and I have salvation, I'm not going to have to struggle with sin anymore.
Oh, yeah, which is so backwards.
So backwards.
Yeah.
And then there's this guilt, not conviction, but guilt associated with my sin, so I don't tell anybody. Mm-hmm. And so then I'm locked into this sin, but then it's confusing in my mind because I'm like, but I have salvation, but this sin has a hold on me. How do I balance that? And so
it's interesting. I've always, looked at conviction as the Holy Spirit drawing me near to the Lord, right? Where guilt is the enemy pushing me away from the Lord. Right. And when I started delineating those two, it became extremely beneficial because that conviction will come typically before the guilt.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So conviction comes first. That's the drawing. Come to me. Confess your sin. I'm faithful and just to forgive you of this sin and cleanse you of all unrighteousness. That's 1 John. And then, but then the guilt sits in. And you're like, I don't even know if I can go to this. I don't know if I can sing that song. Yes. I can't read my Bible right now. I got this going in my life. The Lord doesn't want to hear from me. Yeah. Who says that? Not the Lord.
Not the Lord. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Not the Lord. Yeah. And I think that's so important because, man, y'all, the purpose of having this conference is so that men will come, grow closer to the Lord, grow closer to each other, and then go out and make a difference in the world, right? Go out and make disciples in the world. And if the enemy can get a hold of men and get them to not come,
correct.
Man,
and
we
I
don't
will
want
say
that.
There's some phenomenal news out right now about the state of young men in our culture, that there's an increase of them returning back to the church. So then the question is like, why is that happening? Yeah. Well, it's happening because they've gotten out in the culture and they're like, these are not the answers. Yeah. And they're trying to learn how to live like men, which, by the way, Paul the Apostle writes in Corinthians, he's like, act like men. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty strong statement. So anyway, they're coming back to the church in droves, and they're having an opportunity to learn what it actually means to live like a man. Yeah. And I say that like that's a biblical concept. Right. So anyway, we want to train them.
And I think that's so. I mean, it's super cool to be looking at the research right now and seeing what's happening is very exciting.
And we're seeing it.
Yes.
You think about a lot of the guys who are coming to faith in Jesus right now and being baptized. I'm shocked at how many of these guys how many are men?
Yes.
And a lot of young guys.
Young ones.
20, 35, whatever. So
walking
anyway,
in. Yeah, it's
crazy.
Been super cool. And the thing I would want to make sure we say, man, our older guys, this is prime opportunity for you to come back and mentor and disciple and train. Like maybe the years you've been like, well, everybody looks like me. There's nobody younger. What do we do? No, now is the time.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
the Lord's not done with anybody.
Lean in and don't assume that they are where you are in your walk.
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening oftentimes is we look at some who are brand new believers and they don't act like we do.
That's right.
And so like, well, bless God, they're acting crazy. Well, of course they are.
They don't know.
It's just they don't know yet. Give them some time, man. They got to grow in their faith.
Yep.
And, invest in them.
That's
guide them. Don't get frustrated with
them.
It's a great joy to have. It's a great joy to have brand new babies in your home when you're young, right? It's a great joy to have brand new baby believers in the church. And do babies in your home make a mess? Yes.
They do.
And, so do older people. But anyway, older believers.
But it's okay. But, and it's so interesting because I know a lot of the men here, the older guys here at Sagemont, and I've gotten to hear their stories of how they came to know the Lord. And so many of them came to know the Lord in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
And I'm like, go share your story with these younger guys. That's because when I'm 30 and just coming to know the Lord and I'm looking around going, how am I ever going to make it? To have a 75-year-old go, I was where you were.
That's right.
Look at my marriage now. Look at how I'm living. Look at what, that's a huge encouragement.
It is.
So
we're trying to create that environment at the men's conference so that guys can at least rub shoulders with one another, get to know one another, and see who's out there. And realize, too, I mean, if I'm, to kind of use the battle, motif, because that's, awaken the warrior. If I'm going to go to battle, I don't want to go by myself. I want as large an army as possible. Yeah. So we're trying to help you see that there are other men in the same fight who want to come alongside you.
Absolutely. It's going to be a really great time. And hey, listen, women, encourage your men. in your life, your sons, your grandsons, your husbands, your friends. Encourage them to come and be a part of this. I know so many men that drive their wives to ladies' night out, drop them off, and come back and pick them up. Women, it's our time to support the men in our lives and say, this is important. I need you. I want you to go and do this. And so be a support to them. Look for the information as early registration. There's early registration pricing. It'll go up as it gets closer. So register early. That's super helpful. And, tell your friends, tell people in the area to come and join us October 17th and 18th.
Yep.
This fall. It's going to be really, really good. We're super excited. I'm so glad that you're going to teach and get to be a part of it.
Looking forward to it.
It's going to be really fun. Also, if you're watching and you're like, I would love to be a part of this, not just show up on the day, reach out to Jason Ryan. We're going to need tons of people to serve, men to come be greeters and help and talk and all those kinds of things. So there's lots of areas for you to jump in and serve specifically for the conference. So you can reach out to Jason Ryan here at Sagemont to be a part of that too. So thanks for hanging out.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It's going to be a great Sunday.
Appreciate
It's
you.
coming up.
Yes,
Hey,
ma'am.
y'all come visit us at Sagemont. Come hang out, go to worship, get in a connect group, serve, all the fun things that we do here at Sagemont. We want to take your next step following Jesus. So thanks for hanging out. See you later, guys. We'll see you next time on Table Talk.